Unique Creations. I'm Nicole, and today I'm waiting on my epoxy table to dry to finish that. So I decided to attempt to make a dining room table. I have never done this before either. So what I'm going to do, I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 2x4s in front of me, and I want my table, because when you think you're sitting at a dining room table, you don't want it too big, but you don't want it too small. So it is going to be just under, it's like 4 feet 3/4 of an inch by 1 foot. So 4 feet by 1 feet, 2 3/4 of an inch. I am going to use this 2x4 as a guide, because I already have it cut, and it was sitting over at my window, and I was like, oh, that's a nice size for like a good length for a dining room table, so I might as well make them all that length. I already put my chalk line on the other 2x4s so that I can cut them all even with this one. I'm pretty sure it's going to end up a little bit off somewhere. It just has to. It just makes sense to me. So that's where we'll end up cutting off that 3/4 of an inch on either side. So let's saw this little piece of wood down, and this is going to be a challenge for me because I don't have the room in here, and I don't have a miter saw, so I'm just using my table saw. So this is going to be a challenge to see how I'm going to get these to fit, to cut them. It's going to be odd. Well, I guess I can do it this way. So I have a little table off to the side. It has a small toolbox on it, and then I just have these up here. So I'm going to cut this guy down and go along the line and cut them all down. I forgot my safety goggles. Safety first, always wear your goggles. And these ones are dirty. And I like to wear an apron so I don't end up too dirty. I do have to clean these because they are dirty. And excuse the fuzz on my apron. The abomination. That was my little towels, my little t-shirt towels, or rags, or whatever you call them. Towels, rags, I don't know. My little t-shirt rags. The abomination that was them can't be washed, and they got all over all my other stuff. Okay, so let's cut this one down now that we have our safety gear on. And well, that came back at me. And it shed my wood. How rude. I'm going to be sanding it down anyway, so I don't see how that's too big of a problem. But how rude. Just like flung back at me. Okay, let's try this again. My blade broke. What in the heck is that about? Do I have another blade here? I think I do. I do. So now I had to go off camera and change the blade. Beans. It broke on a 2x4 again. But I got these blades from, well, that one doesn't look the same. It's the same size, but it doesn't look the same. You can do a better job. What does this one say? Plywood and plastic. Ooh. It says it's for plywood and plastic. I did not know that they are for different things. Oh well, we'll see if it works. Just for today, and then I'll have to run to Home Depot or Harbor Freight and get more. Means down to one. Because this little guy broke it. How rude was that? And it chipped my wood, so I might have to use the other side now. I might. Let's see. Because this one, 4 feet, 3/4 inches. Oh no. I can't. It's too short. 3 feet 11 inches. So I'm gonna have to use a whole different piece of wood altogether. Okay, I'm gonna go change this blade real quick and I will be right back. Okay, so I'm back. I apparently broke my skill saw, which is a really bad time. So in order to take the broken blade off, there is a button you push on the back that locks it, that is supposed to lock the blade, and then you use the hex key to unscrew this. Well, it was so tight that it got stripped. So now I have to get another skill saw. That's just no good. So I'm gonna put this guy to the side. And I'm going to use my table saw to cut these down, which may have been a wiser idea in the first place. Who knows? And before I forget, my 7-year-old daughter wanted me to let you guys know she helped me clean my whole entire area. So thank you to Hazel for helping your mother clean her whole entire area. So, safety gear first. I'm going to be turning the saw on and off each time so that I don't accidentally cut myself, because I can be a little clumsy sometimes. And I'm going to start with the one I already started cutting. Even though it's now ugly, I'm going to have to sand it down. I'm going to line it up exactly where I want it. That one was easy because I already had it cut. And my kids came out here and it looks like they got cereal on my wood. Don't ask me why. I don't know why people do the things they do, especially kids. Okay, so we'll move on to the next one. Like I said, I've already put a chalk line on them so I know where I want to cut. doesn't want to be made either. My wood is being made to be ugly. So, we'll start the next one. And hopefully this one doesn't do the same thing, because I do not want to break my table saw blade. That would be bad, because I'll be buying a new saw and new blades today. Which I should get a replacement for my table saw anyway. And there's another. Ooh. Almost smacked my face. Okay. That one ripped too. You hear shuffling, my kids are playing bubbles in my driveway. And then we are just down to this last one, which the chalk line didn't go on as nice because it was on the end. So I'm going to try my best to get it where I want it. Okay, flip this one over, and I kind of have a guide to go by already. Alrighty then, now I got them cut after myself, my daughter, and my son fighting with my skill saw. Skill saw's not nice. It does not like me, I don't think. So, I'll move this guy back around. Nah, I'm just gonna move him back. No, I'll move him back around. And it's not very heavy, but but my legs, for some reason, don't feel as secure as I would like them to. So, I try to be as careful as I can when moving it. Okay, so that guy's done. Clean some of the sawdust off, even though I am pretty daggone sure I'm going to have more. Probably going to have a lot more, actually. And my kids are running to the front of the house. I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back. I got them all basically even. If anything, they're like maybe a centimeter off in some sections, which I'm really happy about because that doesn't happen for me. As you guys have seen in my other projects, disaster always strikes. So this is a good thing. When I go, I'm going to go today get my new saw, being I broke mine. And I'm just going to saw down a tiny, tiny bit on each side just to make it completely even. So I'm going to use wood glue along here, and then I'm going to pocket hole along it, underneath, I think, if I can. Never used a pocket hole jig before. Never made a pocket hole before. So we'll see how that goes. But for now, I'm just going to run the glue along the sides. I'm going to use this paintbrush to kind of brush it on better. And my dogs are barking at our neighbors. They're in their backyard working. And our dogs are not being very nice to our neighbors. So I'm going to glue this. And I'm going to put them together. Please excuse me, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back again. Had to put the dog up because she would just sit there and bark and bark and bark and bark and bark. Even, I'm pretty sure her throat has to hurt afterwards, but she'll keep barking. So, I'm going to finish gluing these together. And what I'm really hoping is that these things do not stick to my table. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. We'll see. And little pieces of the paintbrush are falling out. So we're going to hurry and glue this. Oh, it stuck to me. We're going to hurry and glue this, get them together, and get them clamped so that they stay together. And like I said, I've watched numerous videos, and she got put up and she's still barking. Like, punishment means nothing to this animal. Punishment means nothing. So, we're going to glue this and clamp it. Okay, so if you hear a metal banging sound, that's next door. They're back there working also. Don't know what they're doing, but they are working. So that's that sound. Hurry and glue this up, which I don't know if glue comes out of paintbrushes or not. I'm assuming probably not. So it's a good thing I got this thing for like 33 cents from Harbor Freight, so I can just toss it when I'm finished instead of having to worry about cleaning everything out of it. I'm sure there's a way how to clean it. I just don't know what that way is yet. See, I start stuff and I do things. I didn't put enough glue on that one. And I do things and I don't always do the proper research first. I guess I'm kind of a little bit too energetic about doing my projects. And I don't plan. Something my husband always tells me, you don't plan. Which I've tried to get better at, but honestly, I still don't plan, which is probably not the best idea. So I've gotten the glue over every possible bit I can see. I'm going to toss this out because I don't want that to stick to my table. And I glued the sides that I want glued to the other side, if that makes any sense at all. And I have brush hairs in my wood. So I'm just going to put all these, lay them down, try to get them as even as possible again. And then we'll clamp them. And that one. And, okay, so they're about as even as they're going to get. I'm going to, I don't know if I should do this, but I'm going to throw, oh my goodness, seriously, this dog. If anyone wants a dog, you're more than welcome to have her. At this point, this thing just doesn't know how to be quiet. I'm going to throw a little bit more glue down here and hope that it kind of falls down in the crack, I guess. Just to make sure. that I have this thing glued really well. And I don't know if I explained what I'm going to do on this one. I don't believe I did. I'm going to plane this thing down, which is something else I've never done. I'm going to build a planing jig, which is something else I've never done. And I'm going to plane it and then sand it. And then, whoops, I had a couple ideas of what I would like to do with it. I either want to stain it, burn it, and stain it, and fill it with epoxy. Or I want to route out a design on the top and melt some crayons in it. And then, after I melt the crayons inside of it, haven't used these yet. After I melt the crayons inside of it, I would like to just give a clear coat of epoxy over the whole thing. I think that would look really nice if, and only if, I can figure out what I'm doing. Whoa, clamping it the wrong way. So, I'm going to clamp. Uh-oh. I have glue on my clamp, guys. I don't know if that's a bad thing or a good thing. Probably not a good thing. Probably a bad thing. I hope it doesn't glue to it. Seriously, anyone want a dog? This dog was like, at one point, it was a joke. We said we should have named her Nightmare instead of Midnight. Like, we really should have. Because she's like a little nightmare. She's not a great pet. She's a terrible pet. The sweetest dog ever. But she's just not a good girl. Like, people would want their dog to be. If you can see what I mean. So there is a gap. I'm going to loosen this side a little bit. Whoop. I'm going to loosen this side a little bit. I'm going to take this back off for a second. I don't have to take it off. I'm going to raise that up. Oh, goodness gracious. And I got glue all over my hand. Good thing I like peeling glue off my stuff. It's still something I like to do from when I was a kid. So that's still not going to work. I need to raise this just a tiny bit. And that would be my 2-year-old who listens about as well as my dog does. Probably not nice to compare him to a dog, but that's how well he listens. About as well as our dog does, which isn't very well. They don't listen. Worth nothing. Oh, well, that fell off. I'll slide that little guy back down there and tighten it back up. I think that worked better this time. And this isn't a normal table, so when I press down on it, oh, there's lots of glue. It's sticky. When I press down on it, on this side, it lifts the other side. And these, you just push this little lever thingy right here to raise this up and down. And then this screws like this. You just turn it either way. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know why so many people are out doing stuff today. It's hot. I don't understand it. It's really hot. I think people would want to stay in their house when it's this hot. And I'm going to put one more for good measure. Just to make sure that I have it on really tight. So I want my glue to adhere. I did it again. I want my glue to adhere properly. So I think I got these about as tight as I possibly can. And now I have to let it dry. And I think there were some spots. Yeah, I almost went through this whole thing with glue. There are some spots that I think could use a little bit more to seep down in there. And I don't know if wood glue does that, like if it seeps or not. But we'll just put a little more in these certain areas. Just to make sure. And I think that is about all the spots except for this guy right here. And right here. I guess it wasn't just about all the spots. Alright guys, so I'm going to, oh, and the other thing, before I forget, I'm going to place 2 weights on my table and hope they don't knock this off. I'm really going to hope they don't knock it off. Woo. Just to kind of keep it from bowing upward. Because this side looks like it wants to bow a little bit. So, I'm going to hold that down. And I think for now, I am done. So, this is the first part of my new project. I am going to figure out today what I want to do. Sorry, I like peeling glue. It's really weird. What kind of 40-year-old lady likes peeling glue off her hands? Don't know, but I do. So, geez, I can't stop. Okay. So, I'm going to go and I'm going to let this dry. I will be back tomorrow morning to build my router sled, my planing sled, and hopefully to get this planed down, because by the time I go to the store, I come home, it's going to be way too hot, and I don't want to melt out here. I don't want to pass out from heat or anything like that. So, please like and subscribe. I have left a link to my Patreon in the description below if you want to help keep this channel alive. And thank you to everybody for all your support you've given me in watching my videos. And until my next video, see you later, everyone.